time. It is still morning time. Welcome in. Today's one of the favorite days of the whole week, but also, as Flo said this morning, we couldn't have planned it better. We are having Heart Chakra Wednesday on Valentine's Day, which is really just the capitalistic love holiday, but we can celebrate it in our own ways as we reclaim all of these things here. So, I am very excited this morning. Let me introduce myself and figure out what we're doing here and share the YouTube link to the chats that I did not do. Okay, great. So I am Tara Priolo. I am your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I will tell you all of the things I do because I don't normally do that on Boost, but some of you haven't heard it for a while. So I'm an opera singer. I am a creative liberation coach. I am a voice teacher, and I am an activist. I do all of these things plus much more. I'm an arts admin, blah, da, 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 da. All of the things. And I'm joined this morning. You will probably hear his voice in a little bit. I'm joined this morning by Dr. Flo, and I am facilitating the daily boost that comes out of his company, Love in Action Network, which is a mental health. It's use the title, Love in Action, in multiple ways. Join us on the website, lovedandlovable.org, to join the membership or to get all of our events. You just scroll down a little ways and there's all of our events for this week of love, as well as today. There's 2 more events after me. So just keep that in mind, lovedandlovable.org, lovedandlovable.org, lovedandlovable.org. Right now, we are a donation-based organization. So donos are never expected, but always appreciated. And that button is right there too. Don't be afraid to use it, and don't be afraid to reach out to us on live chat. Okay. Those were the intros. Now, we all know, most of you know how Tara feels about Valentine's Day. Tara absolutely hates Valentine's Day. Okay. I don't partake. I do not love the capitalistic nature of it. For those of you that haven't heard it in a while, I am definitely, for sure, decidedly an anti-capitalist. Okay. So I do not like capitalism, and this holiday celebrates capitalism, and I refuse to do that. But what I am going to talk about today, listen, y'all, we have a post from our favorite AMB, Adrienne Mari Brown, okay, that I found on the Instagram this morning regarding love. We have a post from Black Liturgies. We're going to do the chakra. We're going to do Melody Beatty and talk about gratitude. We're going to do all of these things in the next hour. But first, I want to talk about where my philosophy of love stems from. And you've probably heard this phrase thrown around in the community, in the Love in Action community. But I said to my husband many years ago, before we were married, on a colonizer coffee bench, in fact, because I was working at Starbucks at the time, and I was on my break, and we were cuddled up on one of the benches, drinking a coffee, and we were talking, and I said to him, love is simple. Everything else is just noise. Love is simple. Everything else is just noise. So what I want to give you right now, and y'all know if you're coming to my boost, you should have your notebooks, you should have a notes app, or you should have a comment section somewhere. Okay. And speaking of comment sections, let me pull up the YouTube so I can see your comments if there are any there. What ways do you love simply? Or does someone, hi, Poppy Wata, or does someone else love you simply? What ways is love simple? Right? That's the question you're answering this morning. And then I'll continue to share. I'll tell you a little bit about the way that Ross and I's love has worked out over the last almost 10 years, y'all. It's crazy town. It will be 10 years on May 8th, which will be after this little nugget of joy who Ross said was also his Valentine this morning. Which is very cute and is going to make me cry again. So I'm not going to cry because it's very cute. This little nugget that is cooking away in my belly. We've been a long way. That little nugget will be here by May 8th, by our 10-year anniversary of dating, which is really quite amazing. So over the years, we have zoomed in and out. Yes, zoomed in and out of labels, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, now parents, right? And that's all noise. Those labels are just noise. At the essence of it is love. At the bottom of it, it is just pure, being in space with a person or multiple people, right? And we have had, much like everybody else, our journey has not been like happy go lucky. It hasn't been the smoothest journey. We have dealt with people in our families dying. We have dealt with weirdness from family. We have dealt with infertility for 5 years of our relationship. We are finally pregnant with a baby, as I was saying. And I just really think it's important to remember that everything that you put on top of your love is noise, right? All of the financial struggles, all of the, silly arguments over Kleenexes, all of the even big arguments, it's all noise. And so when you dig down to it, what is love simply? And how do you show it? Right? Some really simple ways. Little peck in the morning. Bye. Have a good day. Right? Who's got something else? Put in the comments. I'm still trying to get to my YouTube, y'all. I'm working on it. I'm almost there. And then I'll move to Black liturgies. Okay. But just remember, love is simple. And Poppy says in the comments, I love my man simply because he exists. Love my man simply because he exists. And yes, this background is pretty sunflower. I love it because it has the color of self-love and it has the color of our heart chakra day, green, which I am echoing in my makeup as well as my shirt, which I don't know if you all can tell is green. It's not gray, it's green. So echoing all of that through here. Okay, so if you are on the YouTubes, you will see shortly an Instagram post. And guess what? Hopefully it's the right one. Hopefully it's the right one. No, I don't want to do that one first. I want to do this one first. Okay, so breaking into Black liturgies. Breaking into Black liturgies. Y'all know this is one of my favorite accounts on the literal worldwide internet. I love this account. It's run by a lovely Black person, and we can support this person by following, liking, sharing, saving, as well as buying their book. They have 2 books actually, which I was like, oh my gosh, there's 2 books. So the last 2 slides of this are from their book. Just awesome. Okay. So let's read this together. Put in the comments what resonates with you. Da 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 da. Y'all know how this works. The first quote is from Audre Lorde. If they cannot love and resist at the same time, they will probably not survive. I'm going to read these and then I'm going to comment on them, unless the spirit moves me a different way. Love takes off the masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. It's James Baldwin. Let me read that one more time. Uh-oh. Love takes off the masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. Don't ever think I fell for you or fell over you. I didn't fall in love. This one makes me just tear up. I didn't fall in love. I rose in it. I saw you and made up my mind. That one's by Toni Morrison. Love is not a distraction. It is the origin of collective resistance. Resist those sentimental charades of love that are indifferent toward justice and liberation. Protect the love that reminds us to get free. And that's by the creator of this account and the author of this book, Cole Arthur Riley. So we're going to inhale. I want to remind y'all that you can replace God with any word that feels comfortable for you. I am going to replace it with the word love today. Inhale. I meet the face of love. Exhale. In the face of another. Let's do that one more time. Breathe in. Inhale. I meet the face of love. Exhale. In the face of another. What do you see when people look back at you? What do you see? Here's another one. Inhale. I'm not waiting to be whole. Oh, this connects from the other day. Y'all, very teary-eyed today. Exhale. There is love in this breath. Inhale. I'm not waiting to be whole. Exhale. There is love in this breath. Whew. And then you can see these pictures of her book. So just to see, again, we can support this lovely, lovely account in person by buying the book or sharing or liking and following. Yes, there is love in this breath. There is love in this breath. I want to read 2 of the slides one more time, and then I promise you I will move on. Promise. Don't ever think I fell for you or fell over you. I didn't fall in love. I rose in it. I saw you and made up my mind. That's by Toni Morrison. And what I love about that is the I rose in it. Because I think we have to remember that love, as it said later, is not a distraction. Love is not something that pulls us down. Yes, it takes time to cultivate strength in relationship and in community. But at the same time, the only way that we rise is by loving one another and by being joyous with one another. And love is the gateway to that. You rise up in love. What I said at our wedding, as I was losing my voice, I've only lost my voice like once or twice in my life. One of those days was my wedding day. Okay, y'all. And my husband is, some of you know him. He's very quiet. So Tara had to give the speech at the wedding. Okay, at the thank you at the reception. Okay, and I said, we could not be here without your love to the people that were with us. We could not be here without your love, because your love reflects back to us and allows us to love each other more deeply and more simply. And we have risen in love together and with our communities, right? And that is strength. That is resistance. Not allowing love to feel like a burden. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are single, and they're probably sitting there and saying, gosh, my last relationship, it took so much time and this guy was a dick and da da da. Cool. How are you loving yourself today? How are you rising in love for yourself today? How can you let love lift you? And then the other slide that I wanted to read again was Cole's. Love is not a distraction. It is the origin of collective resistance. Resist those sentimental charades of love that are indifferent toward justice and liberation. Protect the love that reminds us to get free. Protect the love that reminds us to get free. And as you know, in this organization, in Love and Action Network, we are fascinated with freedom. We are pushing for justice and liberation, and we want it for everyone. Everyone. So this is Love Day. And it has been made to be capitalistic, just like the Super Bowl, just like the Olympics, just like all the biggest days on the earth that you can think of, just like a Beyonce concert, y'all. Let's be real. That's capitalism. Okay. But it's not about acting, it's not about performing authenticity. It's about protecting that very sacred, soulful wholeness that gets in you, because that frees you. We rise up with that. And by loving one another, or loving one other person, or loving yourself more deeply, you get more free. And what do we always say? Our freedom, our liberation, individually and collectively, allows for others to see that freedom and liberation and also get free. No one is free until all of us are free. And we don't do that through fear. We do it through love and joy. I will move on to the next post. Okay. Okay, y'all. Get ready. Get ready, because I was so excited that I found it this morning. We have A and B. We have A and B. Okay. This is parts, I believe it's parts of her blog, which you can find her blog at her website. I believe it's adrianmaribrown.com. But anyway, just type in Adrian Mari Brown on Google and you'll get it. And I'll try to link these in the description of the YouTube. So when y'all are watching it back later, you can go find these posts. But what I love about both of these posts is the connection to liberation and justice and freedom for all. Clearly, as those of you are reading on the screen, this one, we're going to talk about Palestine. We're going to talk about ceasefire. We're going to talk about loving, right? And I think this is so important in this dark moment that we're in, where it seems like love is not enough. So let's read what AMB has to say. It's called Rooting in Love. This is a love note to the movement for Palestinian life that has grown exponentially in these last 4 months. I love that there is such an emergent nature to this body. People are showing up because their hearts come awake, showing up because their hearts are broken, showing up because they can see themselves in the socialized other, and because they don't want to see themselves complicit with the mass murder of a place, a people, a culture. I love the unlearning of the Islamophobic and anti-Arab sentiments that have been woven into Western worldviews. I love the multi-faith nature of this movement. I got to read that one again because I love it too. As much as I poo-poo Christianity, as much as I poo-poo some of y'all religious folks that are using Jesus' name in ways that we shouldn't be using Jesus' name, just saying. I love the multi-faith nature of this movement. I recently got to be in a prayer circle with people who practice Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Indigenous, witch, healer, and so many other ways of dancing with the divine in the collective. I was struck by the universal humility, the common thread within us that knows we do not have all the answers. And we cannot do anything without a force greater than ourselves, a force that may be personified or understood as energy or as the sheer presence of many. I love learning how to honor the holy in so many languages and practices. May our love keep us humble in the face of our work. I love the unity across divergence in this movement. People have a lot of different opinions on what the future could look like and how to get there. But we all agree that Palestinians, especially those currently living on the land, should exist, should survive, should have human sovereignty and dignity and rights, including the right to be seen in innocence and in resistance. They should get to be part of any conversation about their futures in an equal way. And AMB adds a quote here. When people think the same idea and move in the same direction, that's a cult. When people think many different ideas and move in one direction, that's a movement. That's by Loretta Ross.
Read it again.
Okay, because we've been talking about this too. Groupthink versus
We've been talking about this for months because people are convinced
yes.
that like Love and Action Network and like the work that I do is some kind of like cult, like mind control, like tell you what to do kind of vibe. That's
right.
actually we're
well,
very
and that's what they
autonomous.
think. That's what a lot of people think about Black Lives Matter. That's what a lot of people think about From the River to the Sea. That's what a lot of people think about Muslims asking for should not be victimized in this country, right? What Jewish people ask for, what Christian people ask for, what LGBTQIA people ask for, right? And the way that it's perceived is cult or groupthink, or these people just think this way, da 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 da. But that's not actual community. So I'll read it again. Loretta Ross, y'all. When people think the same idea and move in the same direction, that's a cult. This is also something that happens in the nonprofit industry on boards that only think one thing. And I will die on that hill, y'all. Y'all will not argue with me on that point. Most nonprofits are cults. Take it as you will. When people think many different ideas and move in one direction. Okay, so I'm going to bring up another quote. Black people are not a monolith. Jewish people are not a monolith. Palestinians are not a monolith. You could go talk to a Palestinian down the street who would say, I don't believe in a two-state solution. And then you might go talk to another one who says, yes, I believe in a two-state solution. There's no monolith. We can think about different ideas, but the point is liberation. The point is freedom. Doesn't matter how we get there. It just matters that we're moving in that direction. But we can have many different ideas of how to get there. Right? When people think many different ideas and move in one direction, that's a movement. That's a movement. And here we have more on the movement. I love that our movement doors are open. So are LIAs. So is Terra Prilo Studio. All are welcome. I love that our movement doors are open because so many people are still awakening. Nothing disappears. It all transforms into the matter of the future. I think this includes the toxic and harmful ideologies that root in our hearts and make us act from fear and hatred. That has to transform somehow through our continuous and persistent work. I see us working to keep our collective heart open as our future transforms from one where violent colonization is ever understood to yield justice or safety to a world in which we share an abundant earth and protect everyone's right to justice, home, and safety. I love the vulnerability of changing our opinions as new information comes in. Our movement is not stuck in loops of misinformation. We are out here fact-checking each other and for each other, examining and deconstructing what we hear. I got to read that again because some of y'all think, I saw this post the other day that was like saying that essentially no one fact checks anymore. And I was like, I clearly don't know those people. It couldn't be me because everything that I hear, I go try to corroborate somewhere else. Everything that I hear or that my community hears and sends to me, I go look and fact check and read another article on it, right? And know where it's coming from. And if you haven't been taught that, I have a great masterclass on it called Lift Every Voice, where I teach you what sources are trustworthy and how to prove that they're trustworthy and how to find them. Right? So I got to read this part again. Our movement is not stuck in loops of misinformation. We are out here fact checking for each other, examining and deconstructing what we hear. I need y'all to hear that part again. Deconstructing what we hear. Dr. Flo and I watched a YouTube video last night that was 40 minutes long. And we paused at the halfway mark to discuss and deconstruct everything that was happening in that video. Had nothing to do with liberation, had nothing to do with activism, had nothing to do with Black people, in fact, had everything to do with online marketing. But we sat and deconstructed it together. And uplifting the frontline truth tellers. We are like water, continuing to flow as the landscape changes, knowing we are called to this. Does that say stake or slake? Oh, knowing we are called to slake the thirst of children down the river. And it will be of no use to flow down paths of distraction and stereotype that lead nowhere. I love our focus and staggered stamina. We are not satisfied with PR statements that try to cover midnight war crimes. We are paying such deep attention because we know this is a life or death moment, both for the Palestinians and for the many other communities experiencing genocide, ethnic cleansing, apartheid, and injustice. Including here at home, we understand that growing a force that resists the continued Nakba of Palestine strengthens us for all our struggles. Here's a big one, y'all. This relates to the melody that we've been reading, yesterday's melody. I love our grief. It is often debilitating to witness what we are witnessing. We have to stop, bend over, and weep from the center. Sometimes I have been nauseous. I have felt broken. I have felt unhinged as the witnessing impacts my whole system. But that is the spirituality and morally appropriate response to reality. And I am grateful that so many of our actions are building mountains from our grief, altars, prayers, songs, holding the dead and the living. True love doesn't stop at death. True love is eternal. I feel us truly loving each other through this moment, feeling that grief and learning to flow it into action is our daily practice. I love us in solidarity. I love the unsatisfiable pursuits who are aiming for some perfection of solidarity, even when we inevitably disappoint them. And I love the rest of us who do our best to keep growing and contributing what we can. I know we are all needed and we help grow each other. Mostly, I just wanted to say that the earth deserves our collective love. That the romance we need is not just between us as individuals, but flowing amongst us and holding us together, cleaving us to earth and life. And I love that even in this time of despair and precarity, of Palestine and climate catastrophe, and the feeling of scarcity, and feeling the scarcity of our chance to continue on earth, so many of us are moving, dancing, and singing, and wailing, and poeting, and marching, and locking down, and interrupting speeches, and intervening in legal processes, and educating, and crawling, and praying, and flowing towards life. We are life moving towards life. And as June Jordan saw in us, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Ambi gets me, child. That was big, big. I'll link it in the description and throw it in the Daily Boost chat. I know that was a long one, y'all. So take your time, roll it back, all the good stuff. Listen to it again. I'm going to move into heart chakra. Okay. Gonna move into heart chakra, which is right here. I found it. Okay. Y'all know it's Wednesday. Heart chakra, it means loved and to be loved and loving and wellness and love. I've got my two colors on, as I explained earlier. Okay, we've got green for the heart chakra, but we also have pink We got pink for self-love, because if you're not loving yourself, how can you love another person? How can you love another person, right? So green, as I said, the color of the heart chakra. Green is the color of wisdom, money, luck, abundance, fertility, healing, manifestation, nature, and trust. Those are all big things, y'all. Big things. Wisdom. That's what AMB just gave us. Abundance. That's what Black liturgies gave us. Fertility. That's what science gave me. Healing. That's what LIA gives me. Nature. And trust. Foods that you can eat to help you get in alignment with the heart chakra are green, of course. Kiwi, I love kiwi. Lime, not my favorite. Green apples and leafy greens. If you're a crystal person, if those help you, you can use rose quartz, green aventurine, rhodonite, emerald. Again, the emeralds are some of my favorite. Green calcite. Okay, obviously, I think most of you probably know where your heart is. It's in your chest. Right here, where I had heartburn last night. You have flowers?
Are you seeing this?
Who the flowers from?
The man came to the door and said, "These are from Brent."
He's not here no more.
But he's
Oh,
working for the flowers. Ah.
oh my God, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. We'll have to make sure those get in water. Do we have a vase? That was very sweet. Cry about it. Cry about it.
This is so precious. Thank you, Poppy Wata. The gentleman went, "These are from Brent." And I went, "Ah!"
I love it. I love it so much. Chest center. Okay. When you're imbalanced in your heart chakra, you are unable to receive love. This is something that I've watched Dr. Flo work on in the last couple years. He's worked very hard on being able to receive love like he just did from Brent. Right? If you are imbalanced, you may be unable to love. You may be unable to give. You may be unable to seek passions, or you're seeking external gratification. I talk about that one a lot. Right? But most of this has to do with, if you're imbalanced, do you know yourself? Do you know what you need to feel loved? Right? Like, I'm not a capitalistic person. So for me, stuff doesn't mean a lot. Right? But let's make a dinner together, or let's go to dinner together, or let's, let me make African food for the first time, which I think I'm going to try on Friday. Let me do all of these things, right? So decide what that is for you, or decide how you can love yourself a little deeper, right? If you are aligned in your heart chakra, you are loving, loved and lovable, peaceful, and accepting. And I think those of you that have come in, especially in 2024, to any Love in Action Live, you'll notice the peace that exists in all of the leadership, in all of the membership. There are no tussles. It is all just loved and lovable. It is all just an inner knowing that we bring our own wholeness to the table, and we can feel comfortable in that. Okay, here's your part, y'all. Here's your part. Get ready. The affirmation of the day. You're going to put in the chat or speak out loud, whatever. The affirmation of the day is I love. So what do you love? I love my dogs. I love my baby. I love my husband. I love my family. I love my community. I love myself. I love my voice. I love uh, sunshine. I love Minnesota. Yeah, some of y'all are like, girl, you need to leave. It's the water. There was something in the water. That's true. There was something in the water that kept me here. Okay. Um, I love water. Speaking of water, I love lakes. This is something that most people probably don't know about me because I don't talk about it a whole ton anymore. Because I usually go fishing with my daddy, and I actually haven't seen my daddy since before the pandemic. But I love water. I love lakes. I love sitting out on lakes. I love to be just in a boat, just chilling on a lake. I love pink. I love green. I love watermelon. I was thinking about watermelon this morning. Not because of Palestine, but just because I wanted watermelon. And then I was like, it's out of season. I love food. I love nature. I'd already said that one. I love lots of things. So write in your journal or write in the chat or write somewhere what you love today. And I hope one of those things is yourself. And I hope it's true when you say it. Hope it's true. I hope you don't just say it, but not feel it. I love myself. Right? Okay. Friends, we're going to make it. We're going to make it on time. We're moving to the melody. Look at this. Moving to the melody. I hope y'all still have your notes app. I hope y'all still have, I'm going to try to turn my internet back on over here. I hope y'all still have your journal, whatever you're writing into, because today was a big day. Today was a big deal. Day and deal. Got stuck there. Okay, here is the melody. Okay, so, and those of you that have never been here before and you're like, what is the melody, Tara? I'm going to tell you. It's a book by Miss Melody Beattie, 52 Weeks of Conscious Contact, that we read daily in Love and Action Network. Okay. And this is connected to Alcoholics Anonymous and Emotions Anonymous. Again, we've already read it today, but we don't at Love and Action Network believe in any one religion, any one type of God or higher power. So please, if that comes up, replace it with a word that means something to you or makes you feel at peace and have love in your life. We are on week 7, which every time I say it, I'm just like, it's so much. Just it's so much. Like we've already been through 7 weeks, folks. Holy
the
crap.
entrepreneur in me purely panics. Like
Yeah,
panics.
the entrepreneur, also the mom in me that's like 10 weeks or less till baby, folks. Like that's okay.
That's not a long time. That's not a
It's
long
not a long
time.
time. It's not a long time. And so the entrepreneur heart in me and the planner heart in me and yeah, the whole Tara heart of like trying to keep a child alive it's really making me feel some type of way when I say week 7. Anyway, we've been talking about week 7 all week. The theme is gratitude, which is also one of our favorites here at Love in Action. We try to walk in attitudes of gratitude, even when we're not feeling like gratitude, right? Same way as love. Some days you're like, I just don't feel like loving. Go use an emotion wheel at lovedandlovable.org. We're on day 4. If you missed the other days, you can catch day 1, 2, and 3 on the newsletter, or you can pop over to Twitter with PoppyWalker33 and Andre Stith's, Dr. Stith's YouTube channel. Okay, so here's day 4. A friend called in a cynical mood. He was disgusted with his job and his less than ideal house. I want you to do something, I said. Practice being grateful for everything that... Wow, just kidding. Let me start that again. Practice being grateful for everything you don't like every day, 5 times a day for the next month. Force it, fake it. Do whatever you have to. But you've been practicing misery about these same things for the past 3 years. That hasn't worked. Why not give gratitude a try? He was reluctant. I told him a story of my life. The first house I ever bought was decrepit, falling apart. Holes went clear through to the outside. I didn't know how to fix it up. For the first time, wow, no. For the first 3 months I lived there, I went downstairs each night after putting my daughter to bed, sat in the middle of the ugly living room, and complained and cried. Shocker to no one, this next sentence. The situation didn't improve. I decided to try something else. I began practicing gratitude instead. I said, "Thank you for this house, the holes in the walls, and the way I feel." Thank you became a meditative chant. Over the next 9 months, I started fixing up that house, and it turned into the most beautiful home on the block. 30 years later, I still remember it as my favorite house. Perspective is a strange thing. It wasn't just about transforming that house. Going through that experience gave me an opportunity to see for myself that gratitude works. My friend was quiet for a while. "I used to practice gratitude," he said. "Then I forgot. Practicing gratitude was how I was able to move out of my last house. It helped change my life." "I have to go," he said. "I can't wait to start practicing gratitude again." The inventory focus of this week. There's questions. Y'all got your notebooks? Have you been practicing misery? Have you been practicing misery? How's that working? Have you learned about the power of gratitude yet? And are you willing to give it a try? Snack says, "I love food for sure. 5 sure." YouTube chat. I'll read that inventory focus one more time. Giggle every day, y'all. It's one step towards love. Inventory focus. Answer these questions for yourself. Have you been practicing misery? How's that working? Have you learned about the power of gratitude yet? And are you willing to give it a try? And I want to riff here for a second because that "are you willing to give it a try?" That's the part that a lot of people stop at, right? That's the part that people just get stuck. They're like, I don't know how to help myself. I just Are you willing? Honest, open, and willing. Are you willing to give it a try? Are you willing to put a post-it note on your wall? Are you willing to write on your mirror? Are you willing to actually take a breath and say, "I love myself"? Are you willing to say, "Oh, Tara, you're so beautiful today"? Are you willing to experience joy and love? Are you willing to try it? Are you willing to wake up one morning and see that notification from Telegram, if you're in our broadcast channel, from Dr. Flo, who's usually running affirmations or running inspirational music in the mornings? Are you willing to go try a live? Are you willing to come sit at the table with us? We're not saying we have all the answers. That's not what we say. In fact, we don't know you like that. I don't know how to make you love yourself. I can only show you what loving myself looks like. But what we do have is a community, not a cult, because we all think different things. We have a community and a movement of putting love in action. So, are you willing to try it? Are you willing to come grab an affirmation? Are you willing to come grab an Instagram post? Are you willing to come grab a breath? Are you willing to come answer a question? Are you willing to come use an emotion wheel? Are you willing to just, for a second, be open to learning about the chakra? Are you willing? You don't have to feel honest and open yet. You can come and be perfectly silent. You can be a love lurker. But are you willing? Are you willing to let love in? Whether that's from another individual or from a community or from a collective. So, what do you love simply today? How can you make love simpler and recognize that everything else is just noise? Gratitude is a tool. Chakra is a tool. Love and Action Network is a tool. These are all tools that exist for free on the internet. Feel free to visit lovedandlovable.org, lovedandlovable.org, lovedandlovable.org. You can click my links in bios based on where you are. You'll find that link. Join us if you're willing. Join us if you're willing. We'll see you later this afternoon for Concerts of Hope, a concert of hope with Dr. Flo Love Songs at 6 p.m. Eastern. Waiting to Exhale at 6:30 Eastern over on Twitter Spaces. You can find all of this on our website. Like I said earlier, there's an events calendar. You cannot lose us, okay? You can't lose us. We're very active. We're very present. So just visit the website, but only if you're willing.